Hey everybody, Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich here. I want to do an update on the space station and the comet tonight. Got a lot of questions about it from an earlier video. I misspoke about the constellation. I'll explain that. But I wanted to show you there's actually two passes of the space station tonight. And the first one happens shortly after sunset. Now you won't be able to see the comet with this one. I was focusing more on the comet one because that'll be cool. And I'll get to that in a minute. But you can see the time here. This is basically around 9:12. So the sun sets tonight. I'm looking at my watch. The sun sets tonight at 8:36, so this is about, a half hour after sunset or so. You'll notice, I'll play this, you'll see the space station passing in the western sky. And again, as I widen this out, this is looking west. The sun just set here. This is north, and there's the space station right there. It'll be moving across the sky. I'll speed this up a little bit, and you can see as it's going to be moving across the sky here around 9:15, 9:16. 9:17, and then it's going to disappear. So the peak here is going to be right about there, and I'll put the numbers on here because I can show you this is 10 degrees, 20 degrees. Right there is 20, 30, 40. So about 40 some degrees up there tonight around 9, 15, 16. Again, the time is going to be probably around 9, 13, 14 becomes visible and up there. So now let's talk about the comet because that's what everybody wants to hear about. So let's go a little bit before sunset here just to show you for reference here. I always like to show people. So this is the northwest sky. There's north. There's the sun. That's where it sets. Shortly after sunset, you need to wait about an hour. You really do. So this is about an hour after sunset. You can see the comet is right there. And I'm going to back this up again because you see it's actually up in the sky. You can't see it because it's too bright. We're in twilight. So basically you go about an hour after sunset, it starts to become visible. So every night this weekend and into next week, the comet is a little bit higher in the sky. And I'll go through time. You can see 18th, 19th, 20th. So it gets higher in the sky. Why is that important? Well, the higher it is in the sky, the less atmosphere you're going to look through. And it's more visible later after sunset. So for instance, let's go later into the evening. We're getting darker and darker. More deep sky objects can show up with a camera. More stars start popping up. The sky just gets darker. So this is about 9:45. But if we get closer to 10 o'clock, I'm going to stop it right there at 10 o'clock. It's really well past sunset, and you can see it's not even at 10 degrees above the horizon yet. So it's getting higher in the sky later in the evening, which makes it more visible. So a lot of folks are having a tough time seeing this. So the constellation you want to look at is Ursa Major. Now, I know that's the big bear, or everyone, the female bear. I've got ripped online for this. But the thing is, my kids always thought this looked like a dog. Or a cat. My daughter thought it was a cat because of the long tail. So it doesn't matter what animal you think it looks like. Just look for Ursa Major, the Big Dipper. It looks like an animal and it's got this paw print. This is the bear paw or whatever animal, spirit animal you want it to look like in the sky. Those two stars on the paw are where you need to look. And if you look just to the lower right of there, that's where it is. Now, I will caution you, in the city, it's really hard to see because the visible light from light pollution. So you need to get later in the evening. And if you are in the city, anywhere northwest of you, if there's another city, so if there's a city right in here, what I mean by that is if there's a mall or something here where there's lights shining up, it makes it really dim and hard to see. So maybe get away from that or find a location where you're not near that. But I will tell you, even in the city, you can see it with binoculars or a camera. One of the things I've done is I've taken my camera and just aimed it at this part of the sky, set the ISO really high, put it on a tripod, long exposure, take the picture, then look at the back of my phone or my camera, and I said, oh, there it is. Then I know where it is in the sky. I can take my binoculars and zoom in on it more. And then as it gets darker, you'll actually, oh, there it is, if you know exactly where to look. But it's hard. It takes a little time. The next couple of nights, I think it's going to be easier. But here's an added bonus tonight, and I was talking about this earlier. So we get later into the night. Now it's getting lower in the sky. Again, this is about 10:30. So 10:30, it's around 9 degrees above the horizon. You better have a good view of the sky at this point on the northwest horizon. Let's get closer to about 10:50. There is another space station pass coming up. Now, this space station pass is not nearly as high, but the cool thing about this space station pass is, watch this. It actually passes very close to the comet. So I'm going to go a little bit faster here. I'm advancing seconds at a time. I'll let this play in real time, so we'll let it pause here. So here we are. We're basically, the time frame is 10:51. Now it's going to be 10:52 p.m. And here's the space station getting to about 10 degrees above the horizon, but right below it, will actually be the comet. So if you have a spectacular view of the horizon and you can get down to about 5 or 6 degrees above and still see the sky, this will be a really cool picture to take tonight because the space station will be passing just above the comet, and it's almost 11 o'clock at night, so it's going to be super dark. But if you can't see it tonight, again, the next couple of nights, as I mentioned, I'm going to back this up. We'll go back to about, I think the best time on it is like 10 o'clock. So I'm going to back this up to about 10 o'clock. To me, 10 o'clock is kind of the sweet spot. Let's go 10:15 or 10:10. 10:10. So this is 10:10 tonight, 10:10 tomorrow night, 10:10 Saturday night, or I mean Sunday night, 10:10 Monday, Tuesday. Notice how much higher in the sky this comet is going to be. So real good news over the next couple of days. If the comet doesn't dim, it should be more visible to everybody, even in the city.